Uh, so very shortly, I'm just going to introduce everyone. So my name is André Vauthey. I'm one of the co-founders of Doppelhelix, which is a 10-minute play readings on Zoom right now and hopefully on stage one day. This is over. And with the core actors, I know it's stupid to point, but I'm still going to point because it's not the same for you. There's Olya, Maya, Jake, and Tana.
Hi.
And
Hi.
today we have two people joining us, Adam and Rishi, who's reading the stage directions.
Hi, guys.
So the way we're gonna do it is, do you all have the play? You're all able to open the play, wonderful. Do you all know who you're playing?
Yes.
Perfect. So if you want, switch your name for the name of the person you're playing, and Rishi, if you just want to switch it for stage direction, feel free to do that. Tanaka, if you want to switch for playwright, you can do that too if you want. I think I'm Dr. P. Just see. Then you can still keep your name if you want on between, like this. Proof. Amazing. And the way we do it is basically it's really simple. When you're not on stage, you just switch off your video and put yourself in mute. And as soon as you enter the scene, you just open your video and you can stay on while you're in the scene. And then at the end of the play, we'll just all come back into life and just shortly talk about it. All right. So without further ado, I'll let you guys start. So I'm gonna switch off my camera and mute my. Rishi, if you want to turn off your camera as well, so we can just.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Perfect. And the stage is yours.
Scene 1, Psychiatry. Kira, a college student, enters Dr. P's office. She is a sophomore with dark circles around her eyes and a slouched posture from her way too heavy backpack. She sits down in the chair across from Dr. P. Dr. P acknowledges Kira before continuing to type on her computer. A projector screen can display the scene numbers and setting if needed.
Hi, Kira. How are we today?
Good, Dr. P. How are you doing?
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm glad to hear it. Anything new sprout up in the last few weeks?
Sprout up?
Yeah. Anything sprout up? Any issues?
Not really. I mean...
Are we getting enough sleep?
Yep, 8 hours.
Are you sure? Because I can always prescribe you some gabapentin if you're having some trouble. If another patient of mine's been on that for a few months. She's a junior, STEM major, insomniac. She sleeps like a baby most nights now, though.
No, I'm good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Anything else? Are we drinking water?
Yes.
Are we going to classes?
Yes.
All your classes?
Not all of them.
Good. What else? Are we eating?
I started carrying around a granola bar in my backpack for breakfast.
Good girl.
Huh.
Are we liking the hydroxyzine? How's that working for us so far?
I don't know if it's working. Like last night, my heart just started pounding really hard for some reason. I was so scared. And like, I couldn't stop it. And it was weird because the rest of the day was so great. I felt so happy before. It was really scary, actually. Usually I try to ignore things like that, but I don't know, so yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, honey. Let's do this. Let's prescribe you fluoxetine. You can take 1 or 2 with food or before bed. That should clear up the whole pounding heart situation, so sorry about that. Now, I would normally prescribe you something stronger, like lorazepam with hydroxyzine, but that increases your chances of a stroke, and we do not want that, right?
No, of course not.
Right, of course not. That would be some cocktail. There you go. You can pick up your prescription at the supermarket, so unless there's anything else.
No, thanks.
Of course. Oh, Kira, there's a system to all this. Your brain is a muscle and we got to get you working out the right parts. I promise there's a playbook, even though it seems like we're shooting in the dark sometimes. You got that?
Kira exits. Scene change. Scene 2. Group therapy. Kira, Amy, Jamie, and Dr. O are sitting at a round table with red workbooks out in front of them. There is soft music playing in the background and maybe some decorations on the walls, along with some burning incense.
I hope no one's allergic to lavender. Let's just wait for a few seconds for people to arrive. That's all right. Let's start then. Okay. Would everyone like to tell the group how they implemented mindfulness into their routines this week?
I downloaded this app on my phone. It helps me sleep.
Interesting. And is it meditation based?
Yeah. Tells you when to breathe in and out, and yeah.
A wonderful job, André.
Thanks, Dr. O.
My week was, well, when I when I don't do well in school, oftentimes it makes me hate myself. I didn't do well in a test and I hated myself so much, so I watched some dog videos and that made me hate myself less.
You don't hate yourself, Jasmin. Let's try adjusting that terminology. Maybe it makes you mad when you don't do well, but you're mad at the situation, not yourself, right?
No, in situations like that, I'm mad at myself.
It's easy to misinterpret your feelings. I want you to take a step back and observe this feeling like it's a lake. It's just there. It isn't moving. It isn't targeting you. You're completely detached from your feelings.
How can you be detached from your feelings?
Excuse me? Oh, that's not quite what I meant.
I get what you're saying. Jamie, I feel the same way sometimes.
And when you say you feel the same way?
Sometimes I feel like I hate myself too.
Oh, man, you were in the mindfulness group last year. Would you like to tell the girls about the methods we've used to cope?
Yeah, I guess I could do that. Basically, you have to control your mind. When you control your mind, then you're free from your feelings. They can't trap you anymore. It's actually...
I'm really connected to my feelings. I don't think I can just let them go like that.
No, you're not letting them go. You're just observing them from afar.
I can't do that.
Of course not. Because like any muscle, you have to train. You have to practice.
The thought of being without my emotions scares me. I am my emotions. I mean, I think that's a good thing.
That is false. You're not your emotions. You're not who you are. You control them, not the other way around.
I don't get that.
You don't have to get it. It just is. It's just one more step on the road to having a wise mind. It's in the mindfulness handbook. You just have to play by the rules.
Scene change. Scene 3. Individual therapy. Kira is sitting on a couch across from her therapist. Her head is down. Dr. C sits in silence for a moment before speaking.
How did group go in psychiatry?
I don't like it.
What's that? Which one?
I don't like it. It's stupid. No one listens to me.
Well,
I want to quit group. And I don't want pills.
well, it's completely understandable for you to have those feelings.
You said I could quit before I joined. Before you told me to join. So I quit. I'm taking you up on your offer.
I understand where you're coming from. I really do. But I think it'd be really good for you if you stuck it out just for a few weeks. How are you feeling right now?
Do you ever get tired of living your life for other people? You know what I mean? You of all people get that, right? Don't you just get tired of sitting here, of listening? Don't you just hate giving and giving?
That's not really the answer I was looking for. Well, however...
You asked me how I feel.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
How do you really feel?
That's how I really feel.
No, it's not. It's negative thinking.
Oh, I think real negative, Dr. C.
Right. I won't fight you there. Then let's say with this feeling, let's try to turn it around. Yes, if you feel like you are always giving, but that will help you in the future. Maybe not now in an enclosed environment like college, but in the real world, you'll be wonderful to be around.
Do you find me wonderful to be around?
Do you find yourself wonderful to be around? My point is that you can be. Maybe that's your purpose. Maybe that's why you're here.
Not gonna force it.
You're not forcing anything. You're seeing the positive in a situation.
I don't get that.
Why don't you get about it?
It feels weird.
Oh, yeah, it might feel weird. You know why? Because you haven't done it before. It's a muscle. You have to exercise. But you've been working out a different one for so long, but there's still time. You just have to play by the rules.
How would I know how to play by the rules? I never learned the rules. No one taught me. No one sat me down or handed me a playbook. I'm here to be fixed, right? Can you fix me? Because if fluoxetine won't fix me and hydroxyzine won't fix me and sitting around at a table can't fix me and talking about my childhood with you can't fix me, then what will? What if I can't be fixed?
You don't need to be fixed. And I really think it's time we practice positive thinking.
Yeah. I think so too.
Blackout. End of play.
Yeah, we can all come back. Congrats, everyone.
You guys did really well.
Thank you.
Wow, it's hard. Like, yeah. I'm in the last scenes. I'm still emotionally bounded to the last scene. But if you guys want to take, it's a great play. Yeah, go for it, Olya.
I have a question about the play. For me, it seems like all the doctors, they're kind of not really helping much. So they're kind of, type of doctors. I don't know. Can you please share your vision? So they're
Yeah.
like more in their own world and doing, just enjoying themselves.
Yeah, I was trying to kind of play with the idea of like them trying to help the best way that they can, but they're more focused on like the procedure and the way things are and are supposed to work out, as opposed to like what Kira needs like in that moment. So I was kind of trying to play with that idea, and I was playing with like how they all are sympathetic and empathetic, but they have a hard time truly understanding like what she's going through. So that's kind of where I was coming with that.
Yeah, I really like that.
Well, first of all, like two things. First of all, what I really found engaging about the play when I first read it, and like every time after that too, is that I sort of understood everyone. Like there wasn't anyone here I felt like, no, they're wrong. Like I understood Kira, where she's coming from, and the rest of the patients, but I also understood what the doctors are saying. And it also made sense to me. So like, I guess I felt like Kira, like the confusion, because like, yeah, it makes sense, but I don't know what to like take from it. So that is something that really engaged me. And also I did have a question when I first read it. I was wondering if there's any meaning to the letters of the doctors. Like I was trying to like figure that out.
Yeah, so I said like POC, like person of color, and I thought, so that's just kind of like a little bit of code in there. And I was just thinking about the idea of like intersectionality and like the idea of being a woman of color and like how that would affect like mental health and being how it would affect being treated in that like mental health community and stuff like that. That's kind of where I had with the letters. And I'm glad that all the characters came across as like empathetic, because I didn't want there to be any villain in the story, like, oh, the doctors are completely wrong, or like Kira is just not getting it. I wanted everybody to be at least like three-dimensional and have their own like purposes for doing what they do. So yeah, that was what I was kind of going with that.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that André is always talking about from the beginning when we started this company was that we wanted to do material that spoke to things that are relevant in our times, but also not just like portraying it, something that could ignite conversations afterwards. And I think that the well-roundedness of the play really opens up conversation afterwards, and you can have that dialogue. Well, what is the line between individuality and the system, and how do we navigate that? So it's like, I think that's the strongest thing for me, is it makes you think a lot afterwards.
Yeah, I agree with what you just said, Jake. It's as well, the title of the play is Played by the Rules, right? And it's kind of that guideline and trust the system, and then just, it's a good book, it's a good guideline, but at the same time, it's still a guideline, right? It's still for average, like it works for 80 to 90% of the people, but what about the 10 or 20% that doesn't work? And I agree as well with what you said, Olya. It's like everyone has a good intention. Even the patients have a good intention. They're not like, fuck you, doctor. They still engage and they still want to get better, but there's a disconnect somewhere there. But yeah. Did you write any other plays, Tanaka, or is it like, how did this play come to life?
Yeah, so I've written like a few other plays before. I wrote like and directed a film about mental health. And that's kind of how this started, because I thought like with making it more of like a play form and focusing on an individual person, I could really get that like intimate feel and really get that kind of, feeling. And then I wrote another play about like the environment and basically like what we're doing to the environment. And it's basically just like two people talking about, the state of the world now and like where we're going to go from there. So I do like writing things that relate to social justice and issues that we have today, but I also want them to still be like entertaining and accessible and still, fun to watch or interesting to watch. So I've written a few, and they all kind of have that common theme, but are still entertaining and still insightful, hopefully.
That's nice. Yeah, it's very nice.
Are they also short plays or they're full plays?
So I usually do short plays, but I have written one full play, and that was about basically like toxic masculinity. It was about this guy in college, and he joins a fraternity, and like the issues that kind of arise from there, of him trying to find brotherhood, but him also feeling like ostracized and having to conform to this idea of like what a man is. So that's like the first full-length play that I've written. And I'm kind of playing with like, I think there's merits and drawbacks to doing different forms, and because with the short play you can get a lot, of information packed into a short amount of time, but then the longer play you can also explore themes more. So I feel like they both have their benefits and drawbacks.
Beautiful.
The other thing I'm thinking about the play we just read is it's kind of the ending, right? I'm in the last scene too, so I'm still staying with that feeling. Is that I don't know what's the feeling you guys end up with? Like, I'll share mine at the end, but I just want to see what's everyone's feeling at the end of the play.
Yeah, I guess the interesting, like the very last lines are interesting because like it's sort of not a definite ending. It doesn't tell you how it ended or what I think it can be done and interpreted in so many different ways, but yeah, I think so too. For like I now I don't know what's correct or what's not, like, but for me, like it was more of like a thing to say to like keep the conversation moving on than the like actual like agreement. Like I didn't understand yet what you wanted from me with a positive thinking, but it's like, I guess I should say this now to keep the session going. Like, I don't know what else to say, but I think line-wise, it could be done many different ways, but I was wondering what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I think it can be
a lot. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just going to say that it's definitely was like a very meant to be open-ended, because it could be interpreted in many ways. It could be her agreeing and saying, maybe this is what I should be doing. It could be her saying, I don't agree with you, but like you're saying, like, I'm just going to keep it going. I'm just going to keep on going. So I feel like just depending on the way the scene goes, the actor can kind of interpret it many different ways for sure.
I was going to say the ending got me thinking a lot about the musical Next to Normal. I'm not sure if you know that, but
I love it. Yeah,
I love it too.
It's a really gorgeous piece of theater, and a lot of the character who also suffers from mental health issues, Diana struggles with the concept of like, what if it's not something that can be fixed? What if it is a permanent structure of my brain? And she, has a decision and makes choices that end the play in a very specific way. But sitting with that concept, and it always, like, every time I've ever listened to it or when I saw it, like, that one moment in that musical is very powerful because it really expresses a lot of the themes of the show to the audience in a very stark manner. And I think you hit that in your own way at the end of the play, but instead of continuing on and showing the decisions that she makes from that point forward, you've got this very sort of ambiguous ending. And that is, it can be uncomfortable for the audience, but not necessarily a bad discomfort. It's just sort of like a very empathetic, I don't know what this person is going to do from here, but I understand what she's saying. Like, what if I can't play by the rules because I never knew them? And that's such a scary impression to leave on the audience, but very powerful.
Thank you.
I want to ask you what inspires you to write about all these topics about mental illnesses and all these huge problems society is facing.
I think it's because I think a lot of it is based off my own experiences and also experiences that like my family has had or my friends have had, and just wanting to see them reflected on stage or on screen, because I feel like art really is a vehicle and is an important vehicle for change, and it really can be used for change. So I just thought, hey, if we have this art form that people enjoy like so much, like theater, we can use that to say something about the world, and it can be like a drop in the bucket somehow and hopefully influence somebody. And my hope is always that just like somebody in the audience watches it and says, I recognize that person, like I relate to that person, I've experienced that, and that helped me get through something, or that helped me process something. So that's kind of what inspires me to do it. And they still hopefully are like entertained by it, of course, but yeah, that's kind of what I think about when I write.
Yeah, go for it. I was just gonna say that for me that ending is just, I find it very interesting too that you're, you know, there's 3 doctors, right? 3 different doctors, and each scene it's another one. And I guess at the end I'm really wondering like what's gonna happen next, right? Like, is she gonna go to another doctor, or is it gonna stay? Is it gonna work? Or, and it felt to me very much like, does she need to make some sacrifices that she doesn't want to play by the rules, right? It feels like there's a lot that it's, I mean, I'm not Kira, but it felt to me like a lot of times she wasn't really heard, and to play by the rules, maybe she, you know, like the whole conversation about am I my feelings and all of that was a beautiful example. And yeah, I was wondering like, yeah, it just kept me with questions unsolved and a little bit of uncomfortableness, a little bit of what Adam you said, which is good, but yeah, it kept me wondering it definitely didn't feel like a happy ending per se at the end, but not that in a bad way either. But yeah, I was just wondering what's gonna be next.
Just continue. I had this feeling that it seems to be a perfect pilot for a TV series, and it's just like a first episode, and during the next episode she will be investigating different rules, maybe, you know, so she will be getting to know them. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, if
Yeah.
no one else, anything else to say, I think we can close up here. Well, thank you,
Thank you very
Tanaka, so
much.
much for this play.
Tanaka.
Thank you, everyone,
so
for
much.
joining. Thank you,
Yeah.
Rishi. Thank you, Adam. And yeah, if you have anything else, Tanaka, you want to send us to read, that we'll love to. I think those are great plays. Yeah, cool.
Thank you so much, guys. You guys are so talented. I'm really happy. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.